It is just a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Crystal Boyd of Salon. Thank you so much. It's pretty rare to have a bald guy interview someone in the salon business. Crystal Boyd is originally from Central California, but moved to the Phoenix area over 10 years ago. She received an AA from an Associate Arts from Mesa Community College in General Education Science. She was on the Honor Society and received her degree in psychology. She is currently attending Grand Canyon University in order to receive her master's in science and professional counseling. She is the mother of 3 incredible children, 2 girls, 14 years old and 7 years old, as well as a 1-year-old son. Her 7-year-old Nia plays volleyball, piano, and takes voice lessons. She is also Nia's coach at the YMCA in Ahwatukee. Crystal's oldest, Simone, plays volleyball at Desert Vista High School. Her son Dominic keeps her on her toes as he discovers new things every day. Crystal started her first salon in 2013 with partners before branching out on her own and opening Senia Salon in August 2015. At her salon, Crystal does all types of hair, curly, straight, lace, white, black, and Asian, in addition to providing multiple services including extensions, Brazilian blowout, color cut, relaxers, perm styles. Wow, I don't really know what any of those are. But now tell them where your salon is.
My salon is next to Jamba Juice at 43rd and Ray, right after 44th Street. Jamba Juice, Papachevos, we're like right at Ranch Circle, so where there's a Circle K, and then there's a Valero at the next light, which is Ranch Circle North.
Right.
And we're right in that parking spot.
Very, very cool. And you started that in 2015.
Yes.
So it's been going 2 years.
Yes.
So when was your 2-year anniversary?
It was August 1st.
Well, I'm just proud of you. I'm so proud of you that you're an entrepreneur and branched out on your own. And it's 2 years old, and how old are your children now? 7. How old are all 3 of them? 14
and 15 months.
14, 7, and a year. So to open your business while you're married with 3 kids, that took some entrepreneurial fortitude.
Yes, and I'm a full-time student. So it really
Wow, my gosh, that is an amazing journey. So hustling is your middle name. You just know how to work.
I like work.
Now, does your husband
hard work?
Does your husband work too?
Yes.
So you're both working full time.
Yes.
And raising 3 kids.
Yes.
And starting your business. So first of all, let's start your journey. How did you? Where were you in? Where were you born and raised in Central Cal?
I was born in Salinas, California. It's by Monterey and Carmel and Pebble Beach.
Oh my gosh, I think you went down.
Yes.
How do you leave Monterey and come to Phoenix, Arizona?
Because one of my sisters came here first.
Yeah.
So I was following after her.
And do you regret that?
No. Because I'm the only one here now, and I would stay here.
Now Monterey has the when dentists when dentists join the Navy. They go to the Navy training for dentists is in Monterey.
Oh, is it? Because we had Fort Worth was, I think, the Army.
Yeah, and I went to Monterey. I've been to Monterey several times for courses, and oh my God, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. So tell us why you could leave that area, California, and come out to the desert.
Because there's more money here.
So there's more opportunity.
Yes.
And why do you think that is? It's just.
I think because of hair. And if you're somewhere where there's a lot of black people or a lot of curly hair, then there's a lot of salons. So you charge less, but the rent is high. So being here and having a salon, you make more money because you can charge more because there's not that many people, and then your rent is less.
So you're 34 now. How old were you when you decided you want to do hair?
I was 25.
25. And where in your journey did you decide hair?
I was always good at it.
With friends and family?
Yes.
My love of hair and permanence. There's so many stats that are taken out of context. Like they'll say, from 1970 to 2000, Americans basically make the same. And you sit there and say, when I was born in '62, and I had 5 sisters, and they would back then everybody did their hair in the kitchen. with these permanent deals. And they would always came to me and say, if you let me put a permanent in your hair, I had a ton of hair. In fact, I got some high schools with any permanents. And then I could bribe them for anything. I'd say, okay, 30 chocolate chip cookies. And they go in there, they make either an angel food cake, chocolate, they some big bribe. And I can still remember my sisters screaming in the kitchen. One time ran to the bathroom and stuck her head in the toilet because the water pressure, it was burning. So nowadays, everybody goes to a salon. When we were little, me and my sisters would save up on an album, and you'd buy that album and you'd just kill it for like a year. Now these kids have 1,000 songs on their iPhone. Same thing with pictures. We'd have to save up for a roll of 12 or 24. Take the picture, then you have to save up to go get it developed. So when you look at what these kids have access to and their lifestyle, you can't say we make the same money in the 70s as we did in 2017. No. So what percent of girls do you think do their own permanent at home?
Probably like 40.
40%? It's that high?
Probably a lot of people.
Really?
I think that's why a lot of people's hair is not that healthy.
How's mine look?
Yeah, you have no hair.
How would you on a letter grade?
But when it comes to curly hair, a lot of people don't know how to do it. So sometimes you can mess up. Because like you said, people that have a certain type of hair do hair in the kitchen. So they're practicing in the kitchen. And when you go to beauty school, they don't really teach certain people's hair. They just teach hair. So when you leave, if you're like black or Mexican, you know how to do Mexican hair because you're Mexican. You've been doing your own hair. So you're going to keep doing the hair how you've been doing it, but now you have a license. And if you're black, you're going to keep doing hair because you do black hair. So
black hair is different than Mexican hair versus Asian hair versus...
No, it's not.
It's the same.
It's the same. But some people are scared, and that's why they don't do everyone's hair. So that's why my business would thrive, because I can do everybody's hair, and I live in a place where there's not a lot of black hair stylists, which means they would want to come to me and stay with me because I can do everyone's hair.
So do you have a bigger clientele? Is your clientele weighted towards African American?
It is, but I have like Indians, and I have white people, and I have other people. I think because I do extensions also, I get a lot of different type of clients because everyone can't do them.
Extensions are hard.
It's a technique that you can do easily, but a lot of people don't know how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I noticed one thing. Growing up with 5 sisters, and in healthcare, when I started 30 years ago, healthcare, almost all the employees were women. Now, 30 years later, I've got a male office manager, I've got a male dental assistant. So I've been around women most of my life. I mean, 5 sisters, pretty much I was the only male employee. The non-dentists were all females. But I noticed that all the girls I know in here, my God, they are so particular who touches their hair. And that girl sometimes will leave Ahwatukee and go clear out to Mesa, Gilbert, or downtown Phoenix, and they'll bitch and they'll moan like, oh my God, she moved clear downtown. So now I have to drive an hour. And I'm like, well, go get someone else. And they're like, no. It's a serious deal.
It's serious because a lot of people cannot do hair. And if they can't do hair correctly, then they can mess up your hair when you've been having someone do it and take care of it by going to someone else. So it's really hard to know if someone really can do hair because most people just trust what they're comfortable with. So if you're black and I'm black, I'm going to let you do my hair. When technically, just because you're black doesn't mean you do good black hair. Just because you're white doesn't mean you cut good white hair. You've been to a white person and they've messed up your hair.
But I can assure you, being bald, I do good bald hair. I do. I'm the best bald hairdresser, probably in Ahwatukee.
Yes.
Maybe Arizona.
So this is kind of cool because then people in Ahwatukee would know that I'm there. Because a lot of people don't know that you're there. So
Well, we're helping you get the word out.
yes, so then they said, "All right."
So tell my Ahwatukee homies, who would be your ideal client? Just anyone with hair?
Anyone with hair.
Okay, let's talk about that. What % of your business is girls versus boys?
All girls.
All girls.
All girls.
So I notice my boys go to Gentleman Joe's, and I notice every time I've driven down there and sat in the chair, that's all guys. I've never seen a girl sit in the chair. So girl hair and boy hair is pretty separate.
I think when it's boy hair, you go somewhere that's really fast because guys don't make appointments.
Guys don't make appointments.
No, so
I never thought about that.
So they like to just run in real quick. And if you think of a girl salon, you're like, oh no, when I drop my wife off, you have to wait all day. I am not going to a girl salon. I'm going to go somewhere where I could run in and get a 2 and some finger on the top and get out of there.
How long is the average girl appointment?
It's long.
Like how long?
It's like 4 to 8 hours.
No. For what?
I don't know what the stylist is doing. I don't do that. I'm really fast. Everybody's appointment is their appointment. Like the curliest hair, I get done in an hour.
So your appointments are an hour?
Yes, mostly an hour. But most stylists, they double book, which means you have more people come at once than you can do, which makes you have to wait. So that's why most men, when they think of it, most stylists do have a good waiting period.
Well, the double book, I see that a lot in dentistry, and some dental practices have to do it because the no-show rate is so high. It's like they have to double book because they know 1 out of 2 won't show up.
Is that what it is?
And what's really, really sad and really, really untwisted, everybody has empathy for the poor. How could you not have empathy for the poor? But when you put these really poor Medicaid health clinics or dental clinics in the poorest areas you can think of in Arizona, on any given day, 60% of the patients won't even show up. And it's free. And it's free. And then when you get, my question is, so the poorer you get, the more in healthcare you have to double book because half of them won't even show up.
I'm glad you made me think about that.
So what is your?
I'm the only stylist now in my salon because I am super picky on people's performance and being on time and making sure that people's time are spent accordingly. But some of the stylists complain about not being able to double book, and I never thought about it in the way that you just mentioned. And that might be a good reason why they did have a problem with not being able to double book, because I didn't think about.
And when you go to the
really
really high end procedures like cosmetic surgeons, where they're going to book a morning for this cosmetic surgery, they'll make you, and the insurance doesn't cover it, they'll make you pay for the entire form, whether it's an eyelid surgery, tummy tuck, face, whatever. You'll pay for that morning appointment, and if you don't show, they don't even care. They're like, cool, well, you paid us anyway. You lost all your money, and if you want, because they're booking the whole afternoon, or most of my cosmetic surgeon friends, and by the way, I want to go on the record, this is all natural. I have not had any cosmetic surgery.
And my hair.
And your hair. But yeah, they're like, when you're a high-end cosmetic surgeon, you need to go slow and you need to do your art and you need your canvas, and they're like, okay, it's $4,000 and you pay me if you don't show, I don't care. But by the time you get to a Medicare clinic, it's 60% cancellation. And then the government's response is that they need more of these clinics. Like, they need more of these clinics.
But nobody's going.
They're free. The more free it is, no one has any skin in the game, so they don't value the appointment. But yeah, that's a big deal.
But I do charge deposits when I book appointments. But
so you ding their credit card to make the appointment?
Yes, I do.
And how much you ding it for?
For $25 if it's up to $100, and $50 over $100. And then it's taken off when they come in.
$25 if it's for a $100 procedure, and $50 if it's over $100. Mm-hmm. Nice. That's smart.
The only thing is that I have a lot of clients, so I'm pretty stable. So when people call and they're upset and they don't want to do it, it's kind of okay with me. But when you're growing, you kind of get upset because you want, you know what I mean?
But you know what I've noticed
to.
for 30 years? For 30 years, what I've noticed is I've never been stiffed in 30 years from anyone in Guadalupe. And by the time you get out to the richest area in Ahwatukee, that's where your account receivables are. A fool and their money always part. In my 30 years, it's about 5% argue about your payment policy. And those
correct.
are the ones that totally were going to play you.
Yes.
I mean, if you went to Scottsdale Fashion Center, what could you leave without paying?
Nothing.
Name a restaurant in Ahwatukee you could go. Could you go to McDonald's drive-thru? Yeah, I'll take a Big Mac, fry, and a Coke, and bill me. The 16-year-old wouldn't give you a hamburger. But people expect that from hair salons, and the people that expect that, that's one of the reasons. It's kind of like Amazon. One of the reasons Amazon has made so much money is because the supplier puts the inventory for free in Amazon. Then Amazon sells that. And then after they sell it, Amazon gives the supplier money 30, 60, 90 days. So he's working this multi-billion-dollar float. So he has all these whereas most stores will buy your product. They'll give you $1 for this bottle of water. Then I put it on my shelf, and I might not sell it for 30, 60, 90 days. So they have all their money wrapped up in in inventory. Just like if you watch Shark Tank. What do you need the money for? Well, I got this big order for $30,000, but I can't afford to fill the order. So Amazon reverses. It's a negative account receivables. They sell it before they even pay their supplier.
And
so
it works.
Yeah, it works very well. But the people, the people, I mean, most people, they go to, if you went to Circle K and they say, here's a bottle of water for $1, 95% of the people just say, well, here's your $1. But the ones that are all up in their, all blah, 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 they're working the system. And then they're in your account 30, account 60, account 90, and they're just, yeah.
And you want a certain type of customer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to tell the stylist that too, that all customers aren't good. So you want someone that's going to want to tip you and still pay you and not want a deal. I understand giving deals, and I'm always like, how about you come the first time and I give you a deal on the second time? It's like when you give a deal on the first time, people never come back. Or when they're calling asking for one, then the next time they're like, well, if you did it for that price that time, then it seems like you can do it again for that price.
And do you ever hear anybody talk about Groupon anymore?
Oh no, you should not use Groupon.
It's a race to the bottom. So you have a restaurant, so you have this big old group eat 2 for $1. Well, those customers, they're only going to eat the next Groupon deal. You're not building any clientele where you can make a living. Deals and coupons are a race to the bottom. And maybe when you start out and you're desperate and you're just trying to get the word out, but yeah, no deal is better than a bad deal.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you go to a dental office, the top selling things are cleaning, exams, x-rays, fillings. So what are the top things that girls get done at your salon?
Extensions, relaxers, and colors.
Extensions, relaxers, colors.
Yes.
So it's so funny I'm asking these questions about girl extensions. So just in case Grandpa's watching, like me, I got some grandchildren. What is an extension?
Extensions is when you add hair to someone's hair. So like a track of hair that's sewn together and it's a long width, and then you can glue it in with like a hair glue that's made for the hair, or you can clip it in, so you can sew little clips to it and you can just clip it in, or you can braid the hair and then sew it to the hair, which makes it stay longer.
So they want longer hair.
Yes.
So why don't they just wait 3 months and voila, it grew longer?
Because either they're over ironing it or they're over conditioning it. A lot of people with curly hair like to condition it a lot because they wear it wet and curly, and that's too much protein in the hair, and they don't know that, so it breaks off. So as the hair is growing, the ends are breaking off, so they don't ever get the length that they want.
Is that split ends?
Yes, a split end.
That's split ends. So how much are that's an hour appointment too?
Extensions take between 2.5 to 4 hours.
Holy moly! So my first question would be, how do you get the color right? How do you match? I mean, is hair basically just a few simple colors?
No, because in the world there's only 3 colors, which I believe, if I get this right, is blue, red, and yellow, which means that's when they make the other colors. You know how they make green, and then they make purple, and those are the colors. So people think that black is a real color, and it's not. It's not a real color. And brown's a real color. It's not a real color. It's all these colors mixed up in a certain amount of color. So when you're putting color on a hair, they teach us how to match the color to the hair that's on the head.
So where do you get this? Is it human hair or is it synthetic?
You can buy all types of hair. There's synthetic hair and there's human hair. If you're gonna get it done, I would recommend to get what's called virgin hair, because human hair, you only have to have 79% human hair in the pack to call it 100% human hair, which means the other pieces are like fibers and strings, so when you curl it or iron it, some of it burns on the iron. And virgin hair is what's called, you know, natural hair, which is came from India, or someone's cut their hair off. It's all human hair. You can use it multiple times.
Do you remember that Taco Bell came out where somebody said it's only like 10% meat? And yes. Taco Bell's lawyers replied, "No, sir, it's like 30% meat." And I'm like, wow. I was expecting, "No, sir, it's really all meat." And it was like, I think it only went from like 10 to 30.
Yeah, because everything has a little thing on it. So as long as it has a certain amount, you can say that it is.
So I would imagine, so if you got this virgin hair from India,
yes,
would Indian, I mean, I think of Indian hair as very dark hair.
Yes, it usually comes dark.
So then what would you do? You'd put in there, then dye it?
Yeah. You could color it before you put it in. Some companies will color it before it comes. Yeah. But also in other countries, there is people with curly hair and there's people there with blonde hair. Just sometimes people are used to knowing that country has mostly dark hair.
Like last night, the boxing game, Triple G from Kazakhstan fighting, what was it, Salon? He's a Mexican boxer and he's a redhead.
You see?
And you look at him and you're like, okay, he should be from Ireland and he's from Mexico.
You see? So there got to be more of him there, but we just don't see that all the time. So
yeah. So is that your top selling procedure, extensions? It
is.
So if you're a man and you're at work, what's the, because sometimes you just wonder, because some girls, one day they seem, I don't know, just some days they just have big hair, you know what I mean? And sometimes like when you go to work at Intel and there's all these girls in the cubicles, like what percent are wearing wigs? What percent are wearing extensions? What percent? I mean, like whenever I see a picture like Dolly Parton, she's wearing a wig.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, some Tina Turner, she always said.
Okay, so sometimes people like Dolly Parton and Tina Turner, because they have a lot more money, their extensions are either individual, which kind of goes closer to the scalp, and it takes a very long time to put in. So it looks like a wig because it's so big, but it's actually, still like an individual extension. A wig, not that many people wear wigs unless they're older. A lot of older people wear wigs.
Now, how old is older? Because I'm 55. I'm wondering if I'm just getting close or if I fell over the edge. Am I older now?
Yes. So I would say about 50 plus. Younger people wear it when it's more color, like a red or a blonde or a real short. So they're just trying to change their...
So you see a girl with blue hair, that's probably a wig?
Most likely.
Yeah. I mean, can you dye your hair any color? Like take this this green. I mean, can you just be like say it's Halloween. Can you just dye? Can you go to the store and dye your hair green, blue, red, purple? Or is there just so many colors that human hair can turn?
No, you can change the color almost any color.
Really?
The only thing is that if your hair is lighter, you like blonde, You can put any color on it and change it any color instantly. If your hair is darker, you have to bleach it first, which means you take the pigment and the color out of the hair, and then you apply the color. So you can color someone's hair any color.
And like bleach, if you use a lot of bleach in your washing machine, it's kind of hard on the fabric. So is bleaching the hair, the color out of the hair, trying to turn brown hair, black hair to blonde hair, is that pretty hard on the hair?
It is. So a lot of people that have blonde hair and then they go in and get highlights, they don't know that they don't always have to use bleach because the stylists don't know. Everyone thinks that highlights equal bleach, but because your hair is lighter and we have color that lifts, like bleach, it means makes the color lighter, you don't always have to use bleach. But because they use bleach so fast and so often, it's really bad on the hair.
So that's extensions. So relaxers is relaxing a curl to straight?
Correct.
Is that like a flat iron?
No, it's a chemical that's mostly white. It looks like frosting, and you put it on the hair, and then you rinse it off, and it makes the hair permanently straight.
Really?
Yes.
So since you started getting interested in hair since you were 25, so you've been interested in hair for a decade.
Yes.
Is it like medicine and dentistry where there's new stuff every 5 years? There's new technologies, new toys. Has there been any like new scientific breakthrough discovery products that makes your job faster, easier, higher quality, lower cost?
I think the tools, that you use, like I use the Nano Baby Bliss. It's expensive, but it cuts your time down a lot.
On what procedure?
On the flat irons, like just flat ironing the hair, like just a wash, blow dry, and straightening the hair. There's something called a Brazilian blowout, and Mesa makes it.
Brazilian blowout.
Yes.
So what is a Brazilian blowout?
It is a conditioning treatment that coats the strands of the hair that makes it healthier and keeps it protected. If you have color, it makes the color last longer, but it's also an expensive procedure.
Now, did that come from Brazil?
No.
Or was that the marketing department?
I think it's marketing. I have no idea why.
Well, I've heard of Brazilian waxing.
Yes.
Now, do you do that? Do you do waxing?
No way. Like I don't do that.
Yeah? Not eyebrows?
Oh, I do eyebrows and face waxing.
So you'll do eyebrows and what's face waxing?
Like lip, chin, your sideburns, your eyebrows.
Who's your biggest challenge? Who's your favorite patient? Who's your least favorite client? What do you feel like is your unique selling proposition where you'll hear some story and you'll think, I should have done her hair, or what do you? What's your biggest challenge? What's your favorite patient?
Okay. My biggest challenge is not really hair. My biggest challenge would be getting new stylists. That would be my biggest challenge.
Well, that is here, get her a copy of my book. I normally don't plug my book on my show. I'm not going to plug it, but yeah, when I turned 50 years old, my oldest son made me a granddaughter. So I figured, okay, I'm 50 years old, and I've ran a dental office. It's a dental office, but it's a business for 30 years. And they don't teach any of that business in dental school. So I went back to Arizona State University during high school and got my MBA, like you're going to Grand Canyon. And when I was 50, I realized that my dad and both grandfathers died. They all three died at 61. So I thought, okay, I had Taylor at 50. When I'm 61, she's going to be 11. So I wrote her a book, Uncomplicate Business. And I'm going to give you a copy of my book because the title of the book is, you only manage three things: people, time, and money.
Yes.
So in when you say it's finding hairstylists, okay, well, let's go to the Arizona Cardinals. What would his hardest problem be? It wouldn't be the stadium. It wouldn't be maintenance. It wouldn't be the lawn, the grass, the uniforms, the marketing, the TV ads. What's every sports team's hardest thing to do?
is their players.
Find a great player.
To find a great player.
What's the hardest thing in a dental office? To find other great dentists and hygienists. So
and the person answering your phone to make them want to come in and not be rude. So then they're like, I don't want to go there. You know, customer service is really big, and people are losing it. And so it's hard when you're a business if you're the person doing the work and they love you, but if someone else answers the phone or if someone else they have to interact before you, it can cost you your business.
There's an autograph signed copy of my book. Now you have to buy it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. But actually they were selling Barnes & Noble. It was really a great read because I had so much passion. I mean, I was writing it to my granddaughter and I didn't know what business she'd be in. And there's really no difference in the business of dentistry and hair. It's attracting and retaining stylists, or for me, hygienists and dentists. It's managing your time. It's knowing your numbers. And what's interesting is when something causes a lot of pain in your life, well, you'll spend a lot of time trying to solve it. You know, if you don't read, you just live your life. But if you look at my library, there's 1,000 nonfiction books in there. And when you read an autobiography, you read someone else's life. I mean, that's my life in that thing. And then... you know, I did the audiobook. I sat down and I read it because a lot of millennials like audiobook. And it was about a 5.5 hour read for me to read it. But there's a lot of wisdom in that book. And on Amazon, I think it has like 55 5-star reviews. So that'll always be around. I mean, do you really think, you probably you weren't here when Charles Barkley's at the Phoenix Suns.
No.
But they've never replaced even Charles Barkley. That's been... What, 10? Me and Charles are the same age. I was born in 62. I think he was born in 63. Oh, I got to tell you my bold story. Because do you remember when... Okay, so when I was in high school, I graduated in 1980. What year were you born?
1983.
83, okay. So that just ruined my day. Okay, I graduated from high school 3 years before this little girl was born. So I started losing all my hair senior year of high school. And when I was in college, every time I showered, it was just all fun. And everybody felt sorry for like, oh, I'm so sorry, dude. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, it was, and I was just like, okay, my hair's falling out. There's a ton of bald guys. I mean, to me, it wasn't that big a deal. But everybody treated everybody going bald like it was a big deal, like you were losing your mind or your reputation. It's not like I woke up one day and my eyeball fell out and rolled down the floor and down the street. It was just the hair, and I remember in high school and college, sometimes you'd go beyond dance floor and you'd say, "Hey, would you like to dance?" And a girl would say, "I don't dance with bald people." I mean, I got that probably 3 times in my life, and I just thought, "Damn," you know. But that didn't even bother me because I thought, if that's the type of person you are, you don't have to give me any more receipts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, when a human gives you a receipt that says, I'm not a nice person, it's like, I don't need 5 receipts. Mm-mm. You know, I just need 1 receipt. It's like, oh, well, thank you for clarifying that you're an idiot. But anyway, so that's the way it was. And a lot of my bald dentist friends right here in this town wore wigs. And then out of nowhere, Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns and Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls they made it to the playoffs. And for 7 games, the whole country is mesmerized by Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, 2 of the most handsome, beautiful, bald men ever, $1 million smiles. There's not one girl in America that didn't think them are 2 really, really hot guys. And I swear to God, I'm a bald man who lived through it. At the end of that series, bald was cool. And cool. Nobody, but it wasn't cool. You know? See, I'm 21 years older than you. You didn't live when it wasn't cool. And then, so you say, well, how did it go from being like a disability to where people with hair were shaving their hair? I mean, people that weren't even bald wanted to be bald. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you, there should be a movie on it or something. Chris Rock did a movie on hair.
Yes, he did.
What was that called? Was it just hair?
No, it was...
Ryan, what was that movie Chris Rock did on hair? It was just an amazing movie. But there should be a movie on... I mean, those 2 men should single-handedly get credit for making bald cool.
Oh, well, I'm glad because I don't like the wig bald people.
Well, remember,
He made a movie called Good Hair.
Good hair. Yeah.
But look at older films. The men were all combing it over and greasing it down and trying to look like they weren't bald. And then after that NBA basketball tournament, people thought, I'm not going to do a comb over and grease it down. I'm just going to shave my whole damn head and be done with it. You know.
And now even people going a little bit, they just cut all their hair off.
But I notice it. But I should clarify. It's cool for guys, but being bald for a girl is still emotional trauma. I have friends and family and patients and things like that where older women start losing their hair and spots and pieces and everything, and it's traumatizing for them.
Yes, because sometimes they ask you, how can I get more hair? But it's coming out. So if it's coming out, it's coming out. The only thing would be is to like get extensions or something, but once the hair is coming out, it's not gonna grow.
And why does it come out?
Sometimes it's genetics, sometimes it's medicine, illness.
I think genetics are very powerful because I look at my dad and my grandpa and they were short, fat, bald guys. Which one of these procedures would you like to do? Do you wish some girl came in and said, I want you to do extensions or Brazilian blowouts? I'm not sure what a Brazilian blowout again was.
It's just like a deep conditioning that lasts for 8 to 12 weeks.
Okay. And then there's color, cuts, relaxers, perms, styles. What's your favorite?
Would be the extensions and the Brazilian blowout because they cost the most. And they take not a lot of time.
Yeah.
So if the extensions ever took 4 hours, it would probably be about $400, $500. If it takes about 2.5 hours, it's about $200, $250.
Do you charge by the hour or do you charge by the procedure?
No, I charge by the procedure, but I do also charge for technique. Like, a lot of people don't do extensions like me. They don't last as long. You have them falling out, or you have to come and get them replaced.
So back in the day, a bald guy's biggest worry was, they put down the Corvette and your wig would blow off. So is it like that with extensions, where a girl would be very afraid to be at the office birthday party for Susie Q and her left side extension?
Your extension should last between 8 to 12 weeks. So when you're combing your hair, you can comb a piece loose. So when they go to work, now a piece of their hair is sticking. It's like not falling out, but it's sticking out, and you can tell that a piece is loose. So now you have to make an appointment and go in, get it tacked down.
So this is kind of like a big commitment. If a girl wants extensions, so why does she want extensions? She just wants fuller hair?
Fuller hair, it helps your hair grow. It really protects the hair if it's not when you braid the hair, you can braid it like softer than real tight where it's like pulling it out. So it's really healthy for the hair. The extensions.
Do you remember, are you young enough, or are you remember Susan Powder?
No.
Okay, well she was a talk show host kind of around when Oprah started.
Okay.
But she was the first lady I ever seen where she basically just had a crew cut or short hair. Do you see girls eventually getting sick and tired of?
Oh yeah, I have clients that I just clip their hair down and we like throw color on it and it's like a little red and it's really.
So you have
short.
clients like that?
Yes, I do.
No, what is that called when it's like really short?
Like a bald cut.
You call it a bald cut?
Mm-hmm. But not a bald.
Because I would think if I was a girl, that'd be the easiest maintenance.
It is, but most men aren't attracted to bald women.
But men are pretty stupid.
But men really don't care about hair as much women think they do.
Right.
They don't. But if you were attracted to your wife and her hair was long, most men want their wife to keep long hair. And if they come home and they cut their hair off, they're like, oh, you cut your hair. That's the only time they say anything is when they cut all their hair off. But if they're used to their wife having shorter hair, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter to them. But there is some men that like long hair.
See, I'm lucky.
It's like a butt man.
I just
I don't know.
Yeah, I just have cats. It's just so much easier.
Do you have cats for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any pets, but my daughter wants a dog, and I'm scared of all pets.
And why are you scared of pets?
Because I don't like anything that can't communicate back with me where I can understand.
Right? You're like, it's the difference between being a physician or a veterinarian. I mean, you're a physician.
I mean, the cat could be mad and want to scratch me, and I won't understand. Okay, and then the dog could bite me, and I still won't understand. Like, I need to understand.
So have you, in your 34-year journey, have you seen styles change? And
Yes.
they say styles, they're circular. Like, what was hot now might have been hot, in the 30s or 20s or whatever. Well, where's the style at now?
I would say about like 8 to 9 years ago, everybody got the A-line cut. It's when they cut the back really short and then they had it long in the front. I can say that so many people cried after they got their haircut. It was so funny. Like, they would get in your chair and then you cut it and then they would cry. But everybody had that haircut. Or they would shave the back of their head. Or even now they'd shave one side. When that stuff starts growing back, it looks cute when it's all shaved. From being shaved,
Yeah.
it's a bad transition.
So what's the hot styles now?
Right now, it would depend on what field you're in. So, like, if you're like a businesswoman, a real natural extension look works well. If you are a party person, probably more color. You can be natural, but like bleach with color in your hair. More like layers and flowy hair. Nothing like really bland and just straight. All those. We have kind of like a mix in 2017.
So do girls come in?
Right?
How do girls communicate what they want? Do they? I mean, I'm envisioning they go through Vogue magazine and come in and say and give you a picture and say I want my hair to look like that, or
Yes, but a stylist should have a really good consultation, which means you talk to the client and you look at them and you know that some round face shouldn't go for certain haircuts. So you might want to bring it to their attention that if they have a picture, maybe they should show a picture of more a rounded face because this picture has an oval face. Just to make sure that the client really understands what they want.
or the satisfaction
Right.
equals what they perceive minus what they expect. And I always tell dentists one of the problems they do wrong is they raise expectations. Like they'll say, well, after you do a root canal, will I have any pain? Oh, no, you'll be fine. Why would you say that? Because then if it's sore, they weren't expecting it to be sore. I'd rather sit there and say, well, afterwards it's going to be really, really sore. And then they call back and say, oh my God, you were awesome. It only bothered me for 2 days. So you have to make anybody satisfied, you have to lower their expectations so that their perception of what you did. It's kind of like CEOs. They never take the CEO from the marketing and sales department and put him on the top dog. Because salespeople, they're born to overpromise and underdeliver. They overpromise to get the sale, and then you're upset because it didn't come. So when people come in and they give you a picture and they say, "Oh, I want my smile to look just like that." Okay, you're 74 and she's 22, and you know what I mean. And
that's what you have to do. And some people just want to take the money, So
Right.
you come in, you're like, sure, sit down. And then when it's not, you explain to them after. Oh, well, now you're not 25. And now
it's an excuse.
Now it's an excuse on why you couldn't achieve what I asked for.
Right.
So if I can't achieve what you want, then I would let you know before we even start.
Always lower their expectations and then try to exceed them, and they'll be happy.
Yes.
Satisfaction equals perception minus expectations.
That's why I have really good reviews on Yelp.
Very good. Now, that's another. So now, what year you were born in '83?
Yes.
So you're a millennial,
Yes.
and so I'm a baby boomer, so I'm 55. I've never seen anybody use Yelp. I mean, when I go out with my Ahwatukee dentist friends at Zips or Brad's Place, I've never seen a human being use Yelp. But I know it's a serious thing.
It is.
For kids.
Well, Yelp for kind of anyone is really good because it also, we were talking about discounts. But when you do eat somewhere a lot and you still, like me, if I get a discount, I still tip on the amount I would have paid without the discount because I'm being served. So even though I'm using a discount, I still try to give the person what they're going to get. When you're using Yelp, sometimes they'll say, hey, if you come eat here, you get a free appetizer. If you let people know that you were here and that you enjoyed yourself. So all they're
which is
asking,
illegal on Yelp.
Is it?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
well, if it, on Yelp on the contract,
Uh-huh.
if you incentivize someone to leave a review, like if you're at a restaurant, I'll say, I'll give you girls free drinks if you all whip out your iPhone and give me a great Yelp review.
Oh yes, no, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I mean it in the way
You can't
that
bribe someone to make a good Yelp review.
yes, I mean in the way that if you go on Yelp and you saw, oh, if I go here and I check in when I already go here and I get a free appetizer, I'm most likely gonna leave a review because I'm already using Yelp. You understand? Like you kind of know that people want to hear. So supposedly Yelp should be to tell people where's good restaurants and where's bad restaurants. And that's from word of mouth. So you have someone going and explaining what their experience is. So even if you have a bad review, you can read it to see what they were mad about. They could have been mad about that they wanted a free soda and they didn't get a free soda, or the waitress was slow, but it was Brittany. And they have 10 other servers. So Brittany might not even work there anymore. You know, so when you're reading it, it doesn't just make you not want to go there. It kind of makes you understand the restaurant that you're going to. So I like Yelp because it gives you an understanding of how people feel about a place. And that's what it's for.
In our office, it seems like almost every time we've ever had a bad review, it's because someone comes in and we spend a bunch of time with them, talking to them and everything, and then we verify their insurance. They don't have insurance, and this is what it's going to be. And they're like, well, I don't have it. They want us to take their insurance. We're like, you don't have insurance. And you spend like 2 hours with this person, and they leave all upset because they're not going to get all fixed up for free and no insurance. And then they leave you a bad review.
Yeah, I have bad
Almost
reviews.
every single one I can ever remember. Everyone I can remember had something to do with money. Money's the answer. What's the question?
You know what? That's funny because all my bad reviews are about money.
See?
One person gave me a bad review and they said my prices were too high. They didn't even come to me.
Yeah.
And I'm really good. I will recommend you to someone that is cheaper. But also, you going somewhere cheaper doesn't mean you're gonna get what I would deliver.
Well, but in all seriousness, what percent of people do you think are crazy?
Like 10.
10?
Yes.
You're optimist. But it doesn't matter if it's your family.
You know
or
what? It would be what we both define as crazy.
Yeah, I mean, a Farran family reunion from Kansas. There's some crazy people there. I mean, my grandmother went to the grave thinking that the whole Apollo mission was filmed in Hollywood to scare the Russians, and she could talk for 40 days and 40 nights about how, well, there's no air up there, so how was the flag out, and
I could beat you.
And the footprint, and it's like, and when you go there, you're just like, I don't care, I just don't want to hear it. A fanatic, a fanatic is someone who's obsessed with something. That's cool, but won't change the subject. That's not cool. So you kind of got to get up, go to the bathroom, and go sit by another relative.
You have to go.
You have to pretend. You got to move. You got to work the room.
I'm like, my mom believes that she's not going to ever die and be caught up in the rapture with Jesus.
Yeah.
How do you explain that when you're trying to talk about burial insurance? You know what I mean? I can't get insurance for her because she don't ever believe she gonna go anywhere. And
we have that at our family reunion too, and then it's kind of tough because it's scaring the children. How is the grandkid supposed to be studying for her high school exam when her aunt is telling and has the specific date at the end of the world? And you're like, okay, this is like anti-motivation. You're like the opposite of Zig Ziglar. You're now you're very kid. Well, why should I study if the end of the world is? It's people are.
I feel really that the good will really outweigh the bad. So I feel like even though there will be people that don't like your service, that there would be more people that did. So even if you get a couple of bad reviews, to me, you should still have more good ones than bad. And I believe that because they're they perceived the situation different, that when they explain it, when you're someone reading it with a level mind, you're like, oh, I could see how.
I guess the reason I don't like reviews is they never meant anything to me. Movie. I mean, I read a movie review. It seems like who was the Seesker and Ebert. And who would have guessed the skinny healthy one died before the big fat one? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like it didn't matter if they were 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, whether I liked the movie or not. I liked the movie. You know what I mean?
No.
And in my generation, like I like to try new restaurants. And if it wasn't all that good, it's like, well, we still went out. You got out of the house. I'm a homebody. You went to a new restaurant. You ate. You had fun. You got out. You were with friends. Maybe you won't go back there or try another one.
I like new experiences, so I really don't feel like everyone should only go off reviews. I think you should experience yourself. The only thing I also do like about Yelp is that it tells you what's right there. You know, so I like to be real convenient. I like my church convenient. I like my nail shop convenient. I like everything.
So do you live in Ahwatukee?
Yes, I do.
So what's your church?
I'm looking right now. I haven't really found a church home.
So what about the schools? You got a 14-year-old. Is she in high school?
Yes, she's going to Desert Vista, and she plays
That's
volleyball.
where all 4 of my boys went. My boys were lucky. Their whole school was on that street. It was Kyron de los Lomas, 1 to 6. Then next parking lot over, Akimal.
Yeah.
And then the next school over was Desert Vista. So literally from age 6 to 18, they were on one street. All their schools.
What years did they graduate?
Ryan, what years did my 4 boys graduate from Desert Vista? Eric is 28. When did Eric?
Eric was 2008, Greg was 2009, I was 2011, and Zach would have been 2013.
Aww.
So Eric was 2008. Greg graduated from Desert Vista 2009. Ryan was 2011, 2013. I had 4 boys in 60 months.
That is crazy.
Yeah, well, I would just...
Nobody.
they didn't have casinos back then, and I knew I would get a girl. I knew if you flipped the coin enough times, all I wanted was a little girl named Megan. And so Ryan really let me down. That was a 3rd attempt to be a girl. And he let me down the minute he was born. And then his little brother let me down again. But so what grade, so what year will... she's at Desert Vista now?
Yes, she'll graduate in 2021.
Damn, 2021.
Yes.
Wow. So she's in volleyball. You know, I was wondering about Desert Vista because, there's a lot of NFL players out here in Ahwatukee. Because do you realize that Arizona headquarters is just
up the street?
Up the street on Warner? Mm-hmm. And I was wondering how football's doing because, there's movies on concussion, there's all these things, and I hear a lot of moms, I even hear some NFL players who, in Ahwatukee, who won't let their kids play football, and some of the moms are starting to be negative on soccer because soccer, they're hitting the head, but, and I've been through this before because when I was little, boxing was all the rage. And then all the helicopter parents, the moms that were really involved started thinking, I don't want to put little 6-year-old Johnny in a sport where someone's punching on his head.
No, because I want to be a counselor. I do believe that your mind is precious, and when you juggle it around a lot, it affects it. So I don't want to put my son in football. But a lot of men like football, but it's in a very aggressive and rough sport that can really hurt them. And I really don't believe that there's enough benefits for it to be the most physical sport. Most of those people are paid the least. And when they're out and they're hurt, they don't get any help. So it's like the shine is just for a short period of time to put your kid through all of that for so long. And my kids are big. My daughter is 6 foot. My 8-year-old is like 48 inches. She's like to my shoulders. My 1-year-old wears a 3T. When people see him, they're like, oh, is he going to play football? And I'm like, no.
Well, if you had the biggest man you can find and walk up to a brick wall and say, punch that brick wall as hard as you can, you'd say, well, hell no, I'm not going to punch a brick wall. But the boxers, they put all that padding on there, so they will punch a brick wall as hard as they can. And it's so counterintuitive because if you wanted to save the brain in boxing, you would take off the gloves. Because if I punched you in the head as hard as I can with my bare fist, I'll break my hand.
Right.
And football, it can't win because the only reason they tackle like that is because they're wearing a helmet and pads. And so the only way football could work is to take off the helmet. If you took off the helmet and off the pads, I wouldn't dive into you head first.
No, you wouldn't.
And so I kind of see football is the new boxing.
It is. It's kind of like Mayweather. Everyone complained about, I did too, about when you watch a Mayweather fight, it's really boring. He doesn't get hit, but that's really smart. Is he supposed to get hit? That's how you get knocked out, is getting hit. So the point is, as the professional, is not to get hit. So you don't get knocked out. But the person watching and paying is wanting you to be bloody and wanting you to be stumbling.
But volleyball, and I remember volleyball, it just really hurts your arms. Would you rather have a really traumatized forearm or a traumatized brain?
Traumatized forearm.
And basketball is another safe one. I mean, they don't use their head in basketball.
That's what I said. My son is so tall. Why would I not put him in, what is that bald guy you said his name?
Charles Barkley.
I'm telling you, he would be him.
Poor Charles. I hope he never sees this video. That is so damn old, the 34-year-olds. What was that old, ancient...
I'm sorry, I'm not really
Born
good
in
with sports. And I watched
1964?
all movies one time, except Grease was like my favorite movie.
That was a good movie.
And I know like all the songs. And
So yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, this is 2017. Let's round it to 2020. In 2040, you're not going to have the NFL's not going to be fed by the level of college players trying to get into the NFL because you already see the parents at the grammar school level saying no.
Yes.
So if the because it's going to be a 20-year lag between mom saying no, you're not going to.
Or football's going to get mad and have to change the rules because
but
I told my kid to be
off.
like Mayweather, and if he ever wanted to play, even though he can't really talk, he'll have to slide or run out of bounds because once my kid is limping on the field and you're screaming at a kid that he isn't hurt, if he's pretending to be hurt as a therapist, that means he don't want to play right now. And you know he plays good, so you're still going to push him out there because you want him to perform well. But some kids don't want to do that.
So what year is your daughter in school? Freshman, sophomore?
She's a freshman.
Do you like Desert Vista?
I do.
And what middle school were the other two in?
She went to Altadena, and my other child, she's at Colina right now.
Yeah.
But she was at Cerritos because it's next to Altadena, and I had them next to each other.
So did you like Altadena?
I did.
Nah, your mouth said yes, and your face said no.
I didn't like the office staff.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
And I feel like that's the first person you see, so it was really hard for me for 3 years to not like the first person I have to talk to.
And why did you not like the office staff?
Okay, one time I thought you always can, like, as long as you give your ID, you can go see your kid. I was pregnant with my son, and I wanted to see my daughter sing a song. And when I walked in, the lady said, "You're too soon," and that you have to wait until 9:15, which was 30 minutes. So I drove to Circle K, which is, right there. I went back, and the lady's like, "Okay, you can go now, but by the way, if there's no seats, you can't seat, and just because you're pregnant, you're not going to get a seat." And I'm like, I didn't ask for a seat. I'm just trying to get to my daughter. I'm walking up the stairs of Altadena, and all the kids are walking towards me. And in my mind, I'm like, I know I didn't miss my kid's performance. I know these kids aren't leaving. Like, in my mind, in denial. Like, I see, like, these kids are leaving. And I walk in, and the lady's like, "Oh, you missed it. You were late." And I'm like, "No, I was early. I wasn't late." But the principal was great, but that office staff lady is still there, and I had multiple incidents with her. And so it was just like, that one was like the most heartbreaking. That's why I said it, because that was her only solo. And just to be honest, people like to say that black people are on color people time. And I'm not on color people time, and I don't teach that to my kids. I tell them that being on time is being late. So you should be early is on time.
I've never heard of colored time.
Okay, yeah. It's like a black thing. They call it color people time, which means gives you like a reasoning to be late. And it's not polite, but they give people excuses for certain things. And so she said it to me like, "Oh, you're late." Like out loud, like, "Oh, because I was late, I missed my daughter's performance." But I was early. And because the staff lady wouldn't even let me in, and when I went to the principal, he's like, I've never had it where you could have just went and like waited. And I'm like, I know. I don't know. Honestly, to put this on record, even though you edit it, I was so upset that for Christmas, I was going to buy the whole office gifts and give her coal. And my daughter begged me not to do it. I was. And asked her to act better.
I actually had the same experience at Ultimate. I walked in there and they said, just because you're pregnant, don't expect a chair. And I said, ma'am, I am not pregnant. It just looks like I'm carrying twins. But, hey, seriously, I love your energy. I love your karma. I love your hustle to come over to the house on the weekend and talk to Ahwatukee townies and tell them, update them on hair. Thank you so much for all you do in the community. Good luck raising those 3 kids. Good luck with your new business. Hope you like my book. Thanks so much,
yes,
Crystal.
I'm going to read it too because I do. I want good stylists and I want my business to grow. And so
no one's ever that own their own business ever read that book and said they didn't learn several things. So good luck. Thank you so much.
thank you.